think that he's good for you.
How do you know what's good for me?
That's my opinion!
Don't you get it? Why can't anybody have an opinion but you?
That I don't think that he's good.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Sandra P's GenXtra on a Saturday morning live. We are doing an impromptu Bravo Extras. There's a bunch that has been going on in the Bravo streets, Peacock streets, YouTube streets, all kind of reunions, and then cast going through different things with each other. So if you are a subscriber already, welcome. I appreciate all of my new subscribers. I appreciate everything that you do to help a growing channel. And I hope you are enjoying your weekend so far. Let me show you this background, everybody. This background, I went to see the Michael movie yesterday. I loved it. Okay, it's indescribable. Jafar Jackson, who is Michael Jackson's nephew, he's one of Jermaine Jackson's sons. And they focus on my favorite periods of Michael Jackson's life. This is the Off the Wall, which is my t-shirt, the Off the Wall period. Also the Jackson 5 period. Good morning, Miss Jackson. Good morning, Miss Jackson. Ooh, happy Saturday to you as well. I'm just talking about the fact that I got to see this movie yesterday. When a movie is important to me, I make sure that I go opening weekend. So this is one that I got to see opening weekend. I loved it. I can't say enough about it. I couldn't wait. Someone's supposed to be taking me to it. I could not wait. I went yesterday with my sister and niece, who are music buffs, Jackson 5 buff, Michael Jackson fanatics, all of that. It was well worth it. I loved it. It has a Black director. It's Antoine Fuqua. It is produced by a lot of the Jackson family. So, of course, LaToya, the remaining brothers, is dedicated to Tito. Oh, my goodness. Ophelia Burkhalter, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining me. Miss Jackson, super cool. Yes, it's actually worth it. Were you the one that told me that you used to really crush on Jackie Jackson? Because all of the brothers in the movie, you could actually tell who they were supposed to portray. There we go. So people that's wondering, what is this love of the Jacksons? If you remember Jackson 5, that is the love of the Jacksons. Natural hair, fro, all the noses, everything. Love, 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 love. So this focused on that period of his life, starting from it started out in Gary, Indiana. So nothing is new about the story, everything that we already knew. But then they have other scenes that you might want to be on the inside of but didn't know. They included those. So I love it. I love it. High recommended. I don't know what the critics are saying. I'm hearing a little buzz. Maybe they don't like it. I don't really care. I like what I like. I remember the critics hated Spike Lee's Crooklyn. To this day, that is one of my favorite Spike Lee works ever. I love Crooklyn. So sometimes certain critics cannot be trusted. That was you, Miss Jackson? I remembered. Okay. Sometimes certain critics cannot be trusted, and that's just what it is. And I wanted to see if I can be heard because I'm replying to the chat. So that's good. But I also like to have it playing just to the side of me in case anything goes wrong. I can see it for myself. So welcome in on this impromptu Saturday morning Bravo Extras with Sandra P's GenXtra. And I appreciate everybody that makes time to sit here with me. And I'm sure there are other lives going on, but I appreciate the fact, those of you that are here, that means a lot to me. Thank you so much. So we're going to start with, I'm going to share my screen. And I'll start with the latest, and then we'll go back. Okay, this right here, and I'll read. This is actually Quad talking about, that's Britt Edie in the car. The Britt Edie is up. Britt Edie, of course, former housewife. She had a grand opening, grand closing herself over there on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, Kenya brought about her own demise on that show. I'm not Team Twirl, but I do like and appreciate Kenya for who and what she is. Kenya and I are both Gen X, same generation. Kenya thinks a certain way, but Kenya at her age should be able to put her feelings aside about certain things and keep making money for her in Brooklyn. So what Kenya did in her salon, her in Brooklyn salon, opening day, unforgivable. And I don't blame Bravo for parting ways with her. They're still in the middle of that $20 million lawsuit from Britt Eady. I don't blame Britt. I think they need to settle with her and go ahead and pay her. They're saying the pictures were not her, but Britt wasn't in there. Cast and her good friend, Miss Loud Kelly at the time, the little hobbit, was claiming that that was Britt. I don't want to see that. So whomever saw it, they didn't tell Britt that it wasn't her. So she did have the reaction as if some of her nudes had been leaked or shared. And this is, I'm not going to play any music with this because I don't feel like going through and having to cut stuff out. So it says Britt Eady reacts to Kenya Moore's hair spa equipment being removed from the rental property. Y'all, they put Kenya, you see her stuff out there, that nice couch and the chair. We've seen her sitting in those white chairs when she was doing some of her YouTube content. There's some storage cases, big black bag. This unceremoniously moved this woman's stuff out. But we know she was in a dispute with the landlord. So she is paid for some stuff. And she was withholding rent, according to her. We don't know whether or not Kenya could afford the rent or she's just withholding rent. But that was the scene in front of the building, the deco that hosted her salon. So this is from the Bravo Shade Room. And it's Quad with the message after Britt Eady did a drive-by at the Kenya Moore hair spa. So I'm going to go in and read what Quad had to say. She's over there, absolutely Quad. Let's see. She says, "This is not cool. I don't like anything about it, period. Let's get to the facts first. But to smile, laugh, and giggle about someone's hardships is definitely not cool. Trust me, it's amazing how fast those tables turn, and sometimes they spin. So let's not show too much teeth. One day, it might be you, and you could be in disbelief. Now consider the source with that, because Quad, I've seen you dancing on graves before, and then you turn around and have some of the same hardships and heartache. But nevertheless, we chew up the meat and spit out the bone. I can appreciate what Quad said. Oh, that's a hair dryer. Those are nice. Those stand-up hair dryers. So you know that when someone is evicted, business or person, they give you an amount of time from which you can go and move your own stuff. I'm going to show you where Kenya is and what she's doing now, if you haven't already heard. Hosea Feed the Hungry, I believe that's Portia. Let me like that. This is the same business where Kenya used the grand. Oh, let me unlike that. This is the same business where Kenya used the grand opening to publicly humiliate this woman. I'm sorry, but I can understand Britt not giving one F. Y'all, I don't think that's Portia. Hosea.feed. Portia would not say something like that under her father. Is Hosea Williams her father or grandfather? I think it's her father. Miss Diane was to the side of the original Hosea Williams family. Why people think Britt should give her grace? Right. I don't know why everyone being dense. People talk about karma all day long, but once they finally see karma being played out, they want you to humble yourself. So Kenya is, her and Brooklyn are over in Tokyo. Kenya, you're not getting a lot of sympathy for what's going on. But absolutely, Quad doesn't agree with it. And I'll have to say, I don't agree with it either. So Britt Eady takes time out of her day, comes out of her nice home, and drives by, sticks her head out the window to look. And then she posted, says, Britt Eady, never win when you play dirty. Now we know the infamous Nene Leakes said that, and that is a meme that will stand forever. I use that to this day because it's true, and it just sums it up in a nutshell. Never win when you play dirty. But Britt, it's actually, you never can win when you play dirty. And that is what Nene Leakes said. I'm going to read some comments, and then I'll go and show you what Kenya is doing now. But if no one, I hope Kenya had someone home. Is Mark supposed to be living in her home? Mark, you take a truck and go down there and take some stuff. I hope that truck is Kenya affiliated because they load it down. Oh, y'all, I don't like it. I'm not a person that does that. Oh, good. I see some people come in. My moderator, Cece, is in here. Thank you, Cece. Thank you so much, Cece. Good morning at Sandra P's GenXtra, Ophelia Burkhalter, Miss Jackson, and chat. And happy Saturday to everyone. Welcome, Cece. Thank you. Delroy and Alfred were excellent in Crooklyn. Love that movie. Yes, Miss Jackson, that's one of my favorite movies. Certain critics don't like when they see like real Black families. I don't know what they expect to see, but Delroy was wonderful. He was a working artist, playing the piano. He was a jazz artist. So it was loosely based on Spike Lee's life. They did live in a Brooklyn brownstone. Mom was a teacher. She was wonderful. It pulled the heartstrings. All of the children, the little boy, I think the Knicks fan, that was the younger Spike Lee. And just his sister also. A lot of his siblings were instrumental in writing the script for that. Joali and Cinque Lee. So I love that movie, Crooklyn. I watch it at least once a year. Don't forget to like the live. Thank you, Cece. Don't forget to like the live. If you're subscribed, please make sure to turn on the notification bell to all so you never miss a live or a new post. If you're not subscribed, please do so. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for that housekeeping, Cece. I appreciate that. I wish Kenya had hired someone to get her stuff out and stored or sold it. This isn't a good look, and I'm not a Kenya fan. Cece, I'm the same. I've never been Team Twirl, but I can meet Kenya where she's at. Kenya has a mother wound that is very deep, and we see it rise its head the way Kenya relates to women. Kenya can be a downright menace. She can be terrible. And we've seen her do it. It's entertaining, but I don't love it. That's one of the reasons I really didn't care for Kenya a lot. And I do understand Bravo firing her or pausing her, whatever they're going to do. I hope the Amazon Live pick up the camera soon so she can start getting a paycheck. I hope she gets brand deals, whatever she needs to do. But I wish that somebody was close enough to her that when she was doing all that with the photos, even though now they're saying it wasn't Britt, I don't know. I could never stand by and let a friend do something like that. But again, Portia, Cynthia, I think even Kelly, they were, okay, you're going too far. And she was like, no, Kenya could not be stopped. And it was to her own detriment. And this is embarrassing. Cece's right. It's not a good look. Good morning, the Anitra J. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in during the live. She's speaking to me and the rest of the chat. Happy Saturday. Welcome. Thank you, the Anitra J, for stopping in. Cece, shut up, Quad. Where's Mariah or Sweet Tea? Cece, that's why I said I take knowledge where I can get it. I chew up the meat and spit out the bones, but consider the source. Miss Quadria, you have danced on graves as well. You still over there making a cute coin from your friend that put you on, and you will die before you ever let her get back over there. Now, it doesn't help that I don't think Andy Cohen's crazy about Mariah either, but looking at Mariah, listening to Mariah, having watched her from season 1, she's never done anything that's so bad to have her blacked out from her creation for the rest of the show. I don't understand that. And the people that don't want her back, I don't get it. What has Mariah done? Nobody's able to tell me that. She thought she was in charge of the show. She created the show. Should she have been thinking she's in charge of the show? No, but she couldn't do anything when Quad was reading her. Toya's disrespectful to anyone. She would always get into it with Toya. Nobody bowed down to Mariah. Just speak your piece and let that be. I don't get it. So I'm with Cece. Shut up, Quad. Where's Mariah or Sweet Tea? And the Quad people that say, Quad never made fun of Sweet Tea's fertility. Yes, she did. Again, ain't nothing going on over there. It wasn't nothing going on with her and King either from what we were able to see. Miss Jackson says, Britt is a nitwit. Miss Jackson, the way I would not leave my house on a Saturday or Friday morning, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, but I don't know what Britt wanted this to look like. She's still suing for $20 million. So the Bravo lawyers are probably going to be right there in court. They try to be released from the case. Now, I hope that NBC, Universal, Bravo, whomever's name, I haven't looked into it. I hope they're not released from the case. Go ahead and pay her. They should have never hired her. Now, Britt is a hire I don't think was worthy of being hired. I know they were going in a new direction, picking up younger people, people that were known in maybe music world, reality TV world. I was unsure about K. Michelle. I think a few episodes in, she's working out okay just from what she's willing to show. So I do like that. I think she's being really candid. That is a good thing. Cece says, I agree about critics not liking real Black family stories. They want struggle and crime as our only narrative. Yeah, Cece, you have to be in the projects and the mother gets on crack and then the father turns the kids out and somebody throws a baby out the window. And it's ridiculous because it's That is untrue. That's a sliver of the story, and it's just not true. And I can testify, I grew up in the projects, but guess who was living there? My daddy. He didn't have to move out just because we were in public housing. So I don't know where a lot of these narratives come from. I think it's purposeful that they put it out there, but it's just not true. Miss Jackson says, Crooklyn is so relatable when I was growing up during that era. Yes, Miss Jackson, that's my era too. Jumping double dutch, going to the candy store, picking out your stuff, somebody inevitably trying to steal, getting kicked out the store. For us, using food stamps. Y'all, that was pre-EBT, honey. They swiped the card now. No, like Troy, they actually had the books. And I'm not embarrassed because guess what? Both my mother and father had jobs. They worked. My mom was a domestic, so she was getting on that bus like Claudine. And my dad was in maintenance for most of the time that we still lived in New York. And it just doesn't make ends meet when you have that many kids. So with 8 kids, yeah, we did get food stamps. Crooklyn was so relatable, and it was embarrassing because they were designed to humiliate. So you got the working poor. Yeah, taxes come out of your paycheck, but if you got 8 kids, the money doesn't stretch like that. But we went to church in Harlem, 220 145th Street. I did a Sandra piece for you to move about the cabin. I went to get my hair braided, and the lady was right across the street from my old church. But I bring that up to say, we rubbed elbows with all kind of other Black people. There was a lady we used to stay with on the weekend. We call her Auntie. She went to our church. She owned her own brownstone in Harlem. Then there was another family. Their son, he went to the movies with us one time to see E.T. The mom was a nurse. The dad was an engineer. So it wasn't just your project family and that's all you know, and it's the bottom of the poor. It wasn't that at all. And I do like the fact that Black people we range the spectrum, and then we all rub elbows together, even in the same family, like the Cosby Show. Now, the Cosby Show, that show had legs. They brought in Cousin Pam, but I would have liked to see more of the other parts of the family. Claire was an attorney. Yes, that's true. Cliff was a doctor. Yeah, that's true. And the kids went to college. All of that is true of the Black family, and that's why I love Spike Lee. Cece says, I went to my little cousin's son's prom send-off yesterday. They looked classy and drove off in a 2025 black Corvette. The kid across the street drove off in a chauffeur Maybach. No struggle. Cece, I love it. Cece, do you know that there are whole TikTok threads with people hating on these little Black kids because their prom pictures are so elaborate? I'm like, go ahead, kids. I think it is funny. I think it is cute, adorable. I love when Black parents trick on their kids like Candy does Riley. I see nothing wrong with it. Everybody's not get it out the mud and all that. I hate that. I've always hated that. Miss Jackson says, our people are everywhere in the globe. We sure are. Everywhere. And certain ones hate it. So that is Kenya Moore. Kenya, thank you for saying everywhere in the globe, because that will, y'all know I'll go off track a little bit, but then I will come back. So let me look for this next one. This is actually, Cece, if those of you weren't in here, I went to see Michael yesterday. That's what this is on the backdrop. And I was saying, don't listen to the critics because they didn't like Crooklyn either. This movie I loved. It covered him in an era from J5 to Off the Wall to like behind the scenes thriller. I loved it. Cece says, yes, I saw the hate. That's why I mentioned my cousin. That's right. Go ahead, little cousin. And driven off in a Corvette. Somebody else picked up in a Maybach. Yes, absolutely. I don't see anything wrong with it. And some of the people that were making the threads, you would never come across this unless you were on social media. So what are you talking about? There was one clear woman. She was so upset. Why are people paying this for their kids to go to prom? I went to the prom in a VW. That's you and what your family did for you. I'm talking about us and what we want to do for ours. And especially in this time, this economy is really difficult right now. People are really upset that they're not seeing the struggle that they want to see. And I'm like, why do y'all want to see that type of struggle? I know why they do, but they're not seeing it. They're not going to see it, and I don't care. All right, so next we will go to, let me put this back up here and show you. And that has music. I'm sorry, I'm not going to play the music because, again, I have been, let me do it for.
I'm stepping into my power, it's clear. This is my moment.
She's saying, I'm stepping into my power. This is my moment. That's what the singer's saying.
She's like, stepping into my power, it's true.
I'll let it replay again so you can see at the beginning. I guess someone is, now that's from her vantage standpoint. But at the beginning, Kenya and Brooklyn were running across the street. This is Tokyo, Japan, everybody. So while we're talking about what's going on down at the Kenya Moore hair care, there they are. Look at little Brooklyn in her denim. And there is Kenya. They got other people with them and some not, but somebody's filming them. There's another brother over there in Tokyo. I have spent the last several weeks moving out of my salon as a result of my ongoing legal battle with the landlord, who has failed to reimburse me nearly $80,000 of improvement funds I'm rightfully owed. My only recourse was to withhold rent and file a countersuit. I already have my outfit laid out for court, child. To all the amazing women and men who came in and twirled out in style, thank you from the bottom of my heart. This salon chapter is closing. Trust me, it's not the end. It's just the beginning of a new era. Stay tuned for what's next. Pound moving, pound elevating, pound entrepreneurship, pound love, pound in Xtra. Next era. Excuse me, pound next era. So this is the Bravo Shade Room. Kenya with a message from Tokyo, Japan after vacating her rental property. So they evicted that salon and Kenya is halfway across the world. She still has to pay rent even if the landlord owes her money. That's so offensive. So when that Bravo Rex said, I believe I know who that is. Pretty girl Keish, why didn't she just buy a space? Why spend 80 grand on a property that's not yours? That wasn't smart. Monday morning quarterbacking. Kenya thought she was going to be printing money up in there. From those of us who know that Kenya does have real hair, long hair, thick hair, 4B hair that is straight, or 4C. She's had that hair for years. Even though we do see her in wigs, we know there's some type hair secret. Some of it's genetics too, Kenya, but I think that her brand could have gone a different way, but I don't know. Kenya seems like a person you can't tell everything, but to tell her now, that's not smart. I guess she knows that now. Someone says she always brings her daughter into it when she wants to soften the blow. Manipulation 101. That's partially true, but I mean, Brooklyn is a part of it. But again, Kenya brought Brooklyn into it when she did that at the salon. I'm still shocked. And that was season 16. I didn't see it going that way. And the fact that she had to be iced out the rest of the season, that was just terrible. But I'm glad she's landed on her feet in Tokyo with Brooklyn. Can y'all imagine if Kenya didn't have Brooklyn? I'm so glad that Kenya ended up with Brooklyn. Good morning, Toot Latrice. Thank you so much for joining us during the live. This is Sandra P's Bravo Extras, and we're just talking about a few of the things in the YouTube streets, in the Bravo streets. Right now, that is Kenya Moore and the lovely little Brooklyn over in Tokyo, Japan, after being evicted here in Atlanta, and Britt Edie taking time out of her day, going through a divorce, probably looking for a job. She got time to drive down there and troll the salon. So absolutely, Quan had a post saying, don't do this. Don't dance on graves. You dig one grave, go ahead and dig two. It's not good. It's not good. So we'll see what Britt's next chapter is too. My daughter's best friend is completing her second semester of law school in Tokyo. My daughter visited her. Temple University Law School, International Law. That is amazing, CC. That is amazing. Like attracts like. I love the fact that your daughter has a circle of friends like that. And the girl is over in Tokyo for a semester. I think it's great. Thank you for the housekeeping and the update. 5 likes, 7 in the chat. Please like the live and subscribe if you aren't. Thank you. If you're not subscribed, yes, go ahead and subscribe. I would love that. I appreciate all of my new subscribers, all of the support I get for a smaller growing channel. If you're team replay, thank you. Press the like button. And then as always, just go ahead and hype me if you can. Everything I'm saying it's alleged. It's in my opinion. And anything I show is covered by Copyright Act of 1976, Section 107 for fair use. Welcome in, CC. Thank you so much for joining us during this live. This is some Bravo Extras. You're looking at Kenya's vantage point of Tokyo, Japan. Her and Brooklyn are there. I started with her being evicted from that salon. And let me just see what Cece says. Another famous Atlanta CC drove by the salon too, begins with an M. Oh, she is a troll of Kenya. And that's why I have made it a point to try not to be so strongly for or against any of the people that I watch on TV, because I don't know these people. I just know what they're presenting to me as the character portrayed on TV. And it's supposed to be reality TV. So a lot of the personality we see, I think, is them. But I would never hate anyone that much that I would root on their downfall, take time to go down there like Britt did with my head hanging out the window, looking at their stuff being put on the street. It's crazy to me. Everybody's different. That's a very successful content creator. There's a lot of miserable people that like to see that as well. And then some people are just there for, just content. But I'm so glad that's not me. I've never had that as a persona or personality. I never relished other people going through, even when they deserve it, Ms. Jackson says, time for a Kenya pivot. Yeah, exactly, Ms. Jackson. And I think she can. Kenya's very smart. Thank you, Linda. 8 likes and 6 in the chat. Thank you so much for getting up the likes when Cece put up the original. Thank you. I appreciate that. So that is Kenya in Tokyo, Japan. Let me see if they'll roll it over again. I'll show just like a little bit of the music. It was kind of inspirational. There she is. That was her. I missed it. That's Brooklyn in denim running across the street with her mommy. Look at Kenya turned around. So that's on her page. And it's just like kind of an encouraging, upbeat, uplifting song that she has playing with that. Okay, let me put that down and then go to the next topic. Now that's a former Real Housewife of Atlanta. But the next topic, let me show y'all this, because this person's in the news too. There's Kenya being serenaded by none other than Usher Raymond. This was during his very successful LA residency. Look at Kenya in that cutout dress. So he would make a point of singing to if he saw famous faces in the audience. Usher's trouble though. He's big. He's big trouble. Tamika said he was cheating at the wedding with one of the bridesmaids. So that's crazy. Chili always said that about him too. The news that he is in now, everybody, Usher is going on tour with Chris, Beat Him Down Brown. Now, I want Chris to have a pivot too and come back. I don't hate Chris forever over fighting Rihanna, but I don't elevate that behavior either. I just don't feel like he's ever properly made amends for it or atoned for it. But again, I don't have a heaven or hell to put him in. These two are going to sell out that tour. They're coming here to Charlotte. They got a couple of Atlanta dates. And I can't knock anybody that still appreciates their artistry. I just can't. So there we are. Let me go back to what I was going to. The next story. Those of you that came in late, I saw the Michael movie yesterday. Yes, it's worthwhile. Please go and see it. It was great. I loved it. And Jafar actually channels his uncle. There were times I was staring at the screen and listening because he looked and sounded so much like off the wall Thriller era Michael Jackson. And I got choked up a couple times just thinking about it. It's a trip. Thank you, Linda. Like, comment, subscribe, hype the video. And I always appreciate that support. Here's one of my fellow content creators, Kiwan JTV. Kiwan JTV is amazing. She is one of my internet nieces, and she covers, in addition to reality TV, scripted shows. So there's shows I don't make time to watch. Tyler Perry, hello, because y'all know how Tyler do. He gonna have somebody pregnant for 30 months if he doesn't do anything else. Kiwan JTV will watch that for you. Divorced Sisters, Beauty in Black, that sort of thing, in addition to reality TV. So if you're not over there, you should be. And I watched the good panels that you had with James Watch Your Mouth and also Mrs. Best. They were talking about Beverly Hills, the Real Housewives reunion. It was a pretty good part 1. Andy, y'all still don't need 3 parts. So good. Kiwan J comes in and speaks, and I appreciate your presence when you make time for a live. I know you're busy. I know you're working. Good morning, everyone in here listening and in the Walmart bushes. Yes, we got Saturday morning. You in the Walmart shopping. Saturday morning, we got people out and about everywhere. And I just knew I wanted to do an extra, so I had to throw something up here. Ms. Jackson said, damn. Not Chris beat him down, Brown. Yeah, Cece, I think of him like that. But you know what? I'm going to defend him on this. I type beat him down. Oh, I know. I know, Cece. I don't like the way Chris should be able to redeem himself just like everybody else. Because honestly, if we knew a lot of the behind the scenes for not just him, but a lot of them, I don't think we would be heralding many of them, really. I really don't. But because that one was so public, so well covered. And then to me, he has had so many other incidents of yelling at people, punching people in the face, the colorist allegations. I can't with him. But I know he's going to sell out like crazy. I already know it. Him and Usher, because I haven't seen Usher in concert. We meant to go to the residency. I never got tickets to go. When I went to Vegas, I was going to the New Edition residency. So I'm still not going to see Usher because I'm kind of spoiled about stadium shows. I like to be up close, intimate, and personal. Toot Latrice says, good morning. Good morning. Thank you, Toot Latrice. Thank you for joining during the live. So the next Real Housewives of Atlanta little tidbit that I have, let me see, is Miss Drew. Let me show you all what she's going through. And of course, this is the bane of Drew's existence, that old Ralph. But I have to put a lot of the blame on Drew because myself, along with a lot of people that watch that show, we could kind of pick up who and what Ralph is. And if Drew doesn't know by now, she never will. Now, I'll give Drew this. I think Drew is very sheltered. Drew has older sister, Allison, and she's almost like Allison's baby. And I know y'all have heard the rumors that Allison may, in fact, be the mama and her mama, the grandma. We don't know. We just know how we do in our families. Any and everything is possible. But Drew, when it comes to Ralph, she seemed like she just wants to believe that he's not that terrible. And we already see Ralph for what he is. Ralph is a narcissist, allegedly. And in my opinion, I'm not qualified to diagnose anyone, but I don't think Ralph has any type of deep feeling or love anymore for Drew. I think he views her as a resource. I feel like he always wants to be a part of whatever shine she gets. And I think he feels like she owes him. It's in court paperwork right now that Drew and Josiah are supposed to move out of that house. They're going to sell the house. I would like to see Drew. I don't think she would do it. Most Black women won't. Drew, probably her and Josiah need to go ahead and get out that house. Put the little children, Ralph, he'll take care of them. And Drew, you get the visitation because Ralph was living right downstairs and those kids were late to school so much while she was traveling everywhere. Ralph would knock on the door and said, I don't care, I'm getting them ready. He did that so that he would have something to hold against Drew in court, in my opinion. So there's a couple of stories about Drew and Ralph. This one is from the Bravo Shade Room, but TMZ had this and a bunch of others. So if I can do it quickly, I'll trans over to TMZ. Because I do realize people listen to me when they're in the bushes. I go back and rewatch myself just to see where my weaknesses are. And y'all, some of that silence while I'm sitting in here like I'm just doing my own thing, I apologize in advance, knowing that I don't edit. So I don't want to do that. Okay, everybody? So we will start with Bravo Shade Room. Text messages submitted as evidence during the divorce revealed that Drew Sidora gave 50% of her Real Housewives of Atlanta income, movie earnings, and endorsement deals to Ralph Pittman. It is also alleged that he took $300,000 from her personal injury settlement. This man is a leech. We just heard the court paperwork the other day. Drew, we know how much she works. She's in all type of movies. Drew was making $12,000 or so a month. I hate to say it, don't take it the wrong way, anybody. I respect whatever job someone does. That's almost an average salary. When I was in corporate America, I wasn't far from that. That was over $120,000 a year or something. Drew says she's making $12,000 a month. Ralph was earning in the neighborhood of over $70,000 a month. We know he's some type tech guru and a consultant for companies. In my opinion, also a egghead hacker as well, who trains other men to mistreat their wives electronically. Hello, Martell. So Drew is saying this man took up 50% of her Real Housewives income. I believe it, because season 16, remember when Ralph was winning in court then? Drew had a terrible lawyer. I hope Drew got rid of that attorney that she had, but Ralph was winning in court then, skipping outside the courthouse. She was saying that he owned Drew LLC. Drew Sidora is Drew LLC. She's the person, that's her brand. So if Ralph owns it, and then he was making 50%, y'all, that's looking kind of like pimps up, pros down type relationship. And this is this man's wife. And your average manager, I'm not sure what the entertainment manager salary is now, but back in the day, it could be negotiated anywhere between 10 to 20 something percent, on average. Of course, it could be less, it could be more, depending on if the person's qualified and this sort of thing. But I can't believe Drew went down that path, but in a way, because I think she's so sheltered, I can believe she went down that path. So let me just cover what the Bravo Shade Room says. According to TMZ, that's where I'm going to go, because they pull from there. According to TMZ, the alleged text messages submitted as evidence during the divorce revealed Drew Sidora claims that she paid Ralph Pittman half of her RHOA checks during their marriage. As part of her plea, Drew included texts that she believes helped make her case. One alleged text, which was dated April 13th of 2026, Drew wrote to her ex, "Drew, stop contacting this man." I could shake Drew, and I like Drew. "Allison, come get her. Ma, come pray for her." Oh my God. I most definitely cannot afford $9,000 of household expenses at this time, because she's only making 12, y'all, remember. Are you going to pay for half of the groceries as well? Half of the kids' expenses for the month? She asked. Ralph added, "Good morning. I believe this is very generous, as you haven't contributed anything towards the home for a number of years." Now, this egghead ninja said home is not that Drew's living separately. He's living downstairs. What is he talking about? Your attorney should be advising you, but if you don't pay, you will be in contempt, Ralph warned. And y'all, you know what? He's probably right. Drew would get punished by that court. Y'all, this is making me upset. Let me read some comments, and then I'll engage with the comments, and then I'll go back and find the rest of the Drew Ralph information on TMZ. Y'all, that's egghead. Ooh, I'm disgusted by that. I'm disgusted. Ms. Jackson, this is from the former topic. I was speaking about Usher and Chris Brown going out on a stadium tour, y'all, and it's selling out. They adding dates. I cannot do none of Chris and his troubles. Ms. Jackson, I'm with you. I want to go back to the day when we didn't know all the behind the scenes of these artists. Cece says Drew is Delulu and slow. Cece, there's something going on. I think Drew is just an optimist. She's wearing rose-colored glasses, and she's not going to see anybody for what they truly are, and that's dangerous for her and her children. At least get Josiah out of there. Good Lord, Drew. Ophelia speaking back to Toot Latrice. Innocent Instigator, thank you so much for joining us in the live morning in the bushes listening. Innocent Instigator, I'm glad to see you. Thank you for joining us in the bushes and taking a second to speak in the chat. Thank you. I appreciate that. Key1 JTV says Ralph is trash. He's friends with Martell Hope. Key1 JTV, that's exactly the person I'm talking about. He's trying to consult on how to mistreat Melody when he was doing that. And he has that whole house wired for sound and sight. So I think it's disgusting for him to allow those kids to miss school or go to school late, especially when she's out of town. I think that's horrible. Ms. Jackson said, "Oh, hell no." Yeah, I mean, that's what Ralph's doing. 50% of her income. Now, I would think a husband, if he really were in your best interest, if he took anything, it would be like a pittance, the lowest, let's say 10%. Instead, you over here want 50%? That's crazy. Cece says she needs better lawyers. She'd rather blow money on bags. I agree, Cece. She does need better lawyers. Judith Lieber, somebody send Drew some more bags so she don't have to spend money on that. Ms. Jackson said, Pimpin' Pittman, shameful predator. That's exactly what his name should be, Ms. Jackson. Disgusting. A husband, Pimpin' Pittman. And it is shameful. And it is predatory. It's predatory. And some of the working class, the paycheck won't stretch, and they go to one of these places and they're like, "We give you $200, but it's going to cost you $390 when you pay us back." And the person's so desperate, they're like, "Yeah, North Carolina actually shut down a lot of those places at one point, and then somehow they went to court. Now I see them creeping up again. But it is predatory, usurious. CC says 8 likes, 9 in the chat. Thank you so much, CC. Please like the live, subscribe to the channel to push at Sandra P's GenXtra up in the YouTube algorithm, please and thanks. Okay, and now I mentioned I was going to go directly to TMZ. Let me do that. I'm going to take it down, go to TMZ because they had quite a few Drew stories. This is a mess. Okay. Something else he did, I remember, I think Drew was saying he might have put hands and feet, she said, on their son. There we go. Okay. I'm not going to hear the sound. I'm just going to, the article, I'll pull that up so we could look at that. Okay, we're going to share this tab instead. Again, that's where the Bravo Shade Room had pulled from. We did the text one. This one is actually before that. Okay, so this is allegedly, in my opinion, and again, I'm covering this straight from TMZ. And I might end up going back to the Bravo Shade Room because I see why people don't like to use TMZ. So many commercials and things like that. Okay, I'll take that down. So if you're looking at it, you can actually look along. But for the people in the bushes, I'll read it too. Real Housewives of Atlanta star Drew Sidora dropped a bombshell abuse claim about her estranged husband, Ralph Pittman, as part of their bitter divorce, TMZ has learned. According to court docs obtained by TMZ, Drew made the case for the judge presiding over the divorce to reconsider the decision, ordering the reality star to vacate the Georgia home she shares with Ralph by the end of next month. So she got to the end of May. I wouldn't feel safe in there with Ralph. I'm sorry. He's still downstairs. Drew told the court she didn't have the funds to move and would be homeless unless the decision was reversed. Drew, the court doesn't care, and neither does Ralph. As TMZ first reported, a judge awarded Ralph primary custody of their 2 kids after a recent hearing in which Ralph blamed Drew for one of the kids having excessive tardiness from school. Drew says she previously submitted evidence, a video, in which Ralph could be heard severely beating the party's son. She said Ralph admitted to the beating in 2024, but denied it at the hearing in March 2026. Keywan J mentioned our not friend to the show. I don't like the ninja. Oh, flathead Martell Holt. So these types are cut out the same cloth, y'all. Melody went no contact as much as she could, and I'm happy that she did. And Drew needs to do the same. Why are you texting Ralph, Drew, as late as this month? She again takes issue with being ordered to be out of the home by next month. Also claims Ralph admitted they are $25,000 behind on mortgage payments. Ralph has the money to pay that. That's the source of control. The RHOA star said she's confused as to why the court ruled in Ralph's favor when he has a documented history of physically abusing the party's son. We reached out to Ralph's rep, who had no comment on the matter. The court has yet to rule on Drew's most recent plea. Oh, y'all, that's terrible. I hate that. And remember, I mentioned when I was doing the latest review for RHOA, I just mentioned that Josiah was he seemed a little down. He seemed kind of sad. So I feel really bad for him. That's terrible. That's really sad. Okay, let me see. I think there was one more. Or I think maybe Instagram will be the best place to get him. So Drew, that's the trip. I don't know why she's paying 50% of the money to Ralph. And then now Ralph is letting the mortgage gets behind $25,000. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense at all. I've actually forgot, y'all, the last story that was going on with Ralph and Drew. Let's see, Josiah, the money. If I remember it, I'll come back to it. Let me see. There was something else I wanted to cover. Let's see. We covered Kenya in Tokyo. Britt Eady driving by Kenya's shop. She's crazy. This is old news now. This happened while Share this tab instead. Okay, this is a reality rundown, y'all. This is my first time seeing this man's face. I read his name somewhere years ago, but I know his wife. Look what they did. The reality rundown. I don't know where y'all got this picture from, but you took a picture of Lee Najjar, rest in peace to him, Big Papa, and placed the mistress's face. I bet you that's his wife in the photograph. That's just, let me tell you something. Some of these garden tools, they have no kind of homebringing, no kind of I don't even know what to call it, upbringing. Just disgusting. Lee Najjar, known to Real Housewives of Atlanta fans as Kim Zolciak's infamous Big Papa, has reportedly passed away. Najjar was a wealthy Atlanta real estate investor who gained notoriety during the early seasons of RHOA as the mysterious man funding Kim's lavish lifestyle while still married to another woman at the time. Big Papa allegedly never divorced that lady, y'all. So the wife was always the wife. So the side chicks, unless the woman was going to divorce him, y'all need to keep this in mind. Kim doesn't have any rights to be at the funeral or anything like that. But they have put her picture over the wife's face. This is crazy. His off-camera presence became one of the show's most talked about storylines, symbolizing the luxury, secrecy, and scandal that defined early Housewives history. Rest in peace to a name Bravo fans will never forget. There's the Bravo docket. These two young ladies cover a lot of the legal type things from the Housewives. They're really good. And said, all these years, I never knew what he looked like. That's what someone said. I saw him a few years ago. No, I heard his name, but I never saw his face. That's rest in peace, Big Papa. Close your legs to married men, Kim. Again, that is another Nene-ism. So, y'all, this is a trip. Kim, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Mrs. Big Papa or Mrs. Najjar is the one that's mourning him, her and her children. And Kim, they said she was still kind of messing with him a little bit. Linda Gamma says, people in the bushes. Click the like button. Yes, everybody, please do that. Thank you so much. Cece says, why would the court allow Ralph to live in the basement but make Drew leave? Cece, I'm not sure. I know TMZ is covering a lot of what Drew says out of the court documents, but I'd like to know as well, what does Ralph have on Drew that this would even seem to be something that is right? I don't think that's right. But again, the Georgia court, they're not going by what's right. How unfortunate, Ms. Jackson says, it is. And I know that woman, Mrs. Najjar, probably wanted some privacy at this time, and he wasn't even a public figure. And to his credit, even though he was cheating on his wife and just exposing his children to ridicule, at least he never appeared on the show. I do appreciate that. Ralph is pulling a Martell. Yeah, Linda Gamble, allegedly, he's the one that taught Martell how to do that. You know, that dumb Bell don't have enough brains in his head to do any of the stuff that he pulled with Melody. I always thought that was coming from somewhere else. Cece says the wife outlived his trifling. She played the long game. She sure enough did, Cece. I bet nobody will be calling from the dealership now talking about, I'm in here with this new Ford Excursion or whatever it is. Thank you, Big Papa. No, it might have been a Cadillac Escalade. Yeah, he bought her Escalade on TV. Thank you, Linda. 10 likes and 9 in the chat. Let me see. I want to see if there is one more Drew story that we had. Well, no, this is old, y'all. This is old by now. When I found out about it, I forgot to do it on about 2 extras. And it could be because these ladies, unfortunately, are not on our screens right now. And I feel like they should be. I feel like the camera should have been picked up immediately. That mugshot there, that is our little monkey, as called by Maddie Saul from the Real Housewives of Miami. So that's Lisa Hochstein. She turned herself in, and she and her ex-boyfriend Jody. So this was happening at the time they were dating herself. At the bottom, you see Alexia and Adriana showed up to support her in court. They were evidently recording Lenny. So illegally recording Lenny. They're in Florida. You're not allowed to do that, I imagine. Lisa's voluntarily surrendering. This is Bravo talk too much. She's being released on her own recognizance. Weintraub told us in a statement. Meanwhile, Lisa added in her own statement, I don't want to let anyone distract me from my big divorce case this month. I'm focused on the well-being of my children who've been through enough. The mother of 2 made sure to note, I've heard nobody has been charged with eavesdropping in Miami history. So, Lisa, you saying they're targeting you because you want Real Housewives? Andy, pick those cameras back up. I want to know what's going on. Lisa Hochstein and her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, Jody Glidden, are facing 1 count each of interception of wire, oral, or electronic communications. Glidden, 52, Jody, you aging well, was arrested and taken into custody on Saturday, but was released shortly thereafter. The former couple is accused of unlawfully and intentionally intercepting, trying to intercept, or trying to have someone else intercept oral statements by Leonard Hochstein, otherwise known as Lenny, and those Leonard Hochstein spoke with between March 12th and March 31st of 2023. That comes from page 6. So they showed Adriana and Alexia went to court to support her. Andy, pull the cameras back up, please. Somebody says, why did they cancel this show? It's literally so entertaining at Bravo, Andy. Andy's well aware. So somebody tag Andy on that. Lisa, I wonder if that's why she broke up with Jody. She was trying to pressure him to marry her the last time we saw him. I'll read some comments, then I'll see if there's anything else that I didn't cover yet. I feel like there was one more Drew and Ralph story. I'm getting tired of Drew. Drew needs to get advice from Melody. Linda Gamble, we know they know each other. Actually, I didn't meet Drew, but I was there, as Charles Oakley would say. At one of the Melody Cherie events down in Atlanta, Drew came in to support Melody, the one that Hill Harper was at. So they know each other. Thank you for joining Mrs. Best Reviews. I appreciate you coming in. Good morning, beautiful people. Mrs. Best Reviews is the other creator I was speaking of that had such a good rundown on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion. She was over there with Kiwan JTV and James, who is Watch Your Mouth Reviews. And I'm sorry, before you ask, I don't have the links. I apologize. But that is what her channel name is, Mrs. Best Reviews. And the best is like with a 3. So there was a really good rundown on Beverly Hills. All right, I'll stop sharing there. And again, thank you for supporting me during the live. I appreciate that so much. By the time I went over there last night, you all have been on 2 hours. So I was just team replay and, of course, left a like. And then I have to watch it at the other 2 channels. Okay, this is from the Jasmine brand. And I'm going to read it because I had covered some Brit and Kenya early. So I'm going to cover this one. The Jasmine brand, Brit E, isn't backing down from the Real Housewives of Atlanta drama spilling into real life. Is now pleading with a judge to let her lawsuit against Bravo and Truly Original, that's the production company that produces RHOA, move forward in full. Last month, Bravo asked the court to throw out Brit's $20 million sexual harassment lawsuit, citing several reasons the network should not be held liable for the incident with Kenya Moore. One being that Brit's contract warns her of provocative conduct or speech from other cast members. However, in new court docs filed April 20th and obtained by Documentings, Brit claims what went down with Kenya wasn't just messy TV, it crossed a serious line. She says Kenya showed a sexually explicit image during filming that was falsely presented as her. Brit, I have to agree with you. They were acting like that was you. Who is this gone to? Brit Edie. They acted like it was her. Things only got worse when producers allegedly pushed her to keep reliving the moment on camera. Also true. According to Brit, everyone on set immediately knew the situation was out of bounds, including producers who allegedly initially responded by suspending Kenya and launching an investigation. But instead of shutting it down completely, Brit claims the network flipped the situation into a storyline. She alleges producers pressured her to repeatedly talk about the incident and even her sexual history. Miles on your mouth, anybody? Yeah, Brit. Y'all go ahead and settle out with this lady. I'm no Brit fan, but I think she got a point. Even her sexual history on camera, including in front of her own mother. Brit also claims her job was basically on the line, saying she was expected to return to work alongside Kenya if she wanted to stay on the show. In her filing, she argues this goes beyond reality TV drama and into harassment, discrimination, and retaliation. Says the network can't just brush it off as part of the show. I don't know. We're at Brit now. Brit did a lot to hurt her own case, but some of these larger companies, the way they treat people, to me, is just beyond the pale. I wouldn't be unhappy if they had to settle with her. Thank you so much. Anytime, Mrs. Best Reviews. Linda Gamble saying good morning to Mrs. Best Reviews. And Linda Gamble, Brit got naked in front of everyone on camera on the girls' trips. Linda, thank you for saying that, because I was going to say, I don't care if they pay her, but Britt has done a lot to hurt her own case. But more than Kenya being responsible, I think the companies, I don't care if they have to settle with this lady, something. But remember, they were on their trip and she got boom and then set her boobies right on the counter, honey. Britt did a lot of stuff. And then now this weekend, her driving by Kenya's salon being evicted. You must not be that traumatized where you're doing this to someone that you used to work with because she put up a picture that was not you. So a lot of it doesn't make sense. I don't know who is advising Britt. She's no longer over there with that old crabby husband of hers. So Britt is a mess, but these companies are worse. Mrs. Best Reviews is real. The TYSM is real. Miss Jackson, I'm not sure if that was a misprint. All Britt wanted was for Kenya to humble to her, and Kenya is not that. Yeah, I think so. She kept begging for a hug and an apology. And that's kind of tacky. Don't beg anybody for a hug or an apology. Stay away from them if you need either one from that person. Britt needs to take accountability for her actions. Linda, she needs to, but she feels like she is the victim here. Now, I would have said she was initially, but then again, a lot of her, what she's doing now doesn't jive. All right, I'll show something with no music just because I was talking about it earlier. And this lady makes me laugh. This is Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Kathy Hilton. Y'all know she's really good friends with LaToya Jackson. That's Prince Jackson right there. All right, I don't play with the Jackson estate at all. They're playing Want to Be Starting Something. So that is her at the after party. Kathy loved it. There's Jafar. Jafar, I'm telling you, he literally channeled. Coleman Domingo as Joe, he was good. We know Joe was a disciplinarian, but Coleman Domingo put a heart in Joe. And I like Joe. And I love Miss Catherine. I think Nia Long did an excellent job. So this is Kathy at the after party. Jafar Jackson is lovely. He's beautiful. He sounded so much like Michael. He really did. They didn't need to do a lot of work or makeup or any of that. Wonderful. I love it. So let me see if there's anything else. And we are right at an hour for extras, y'all. I love it. Thank you so much for hanging while I am doing this. I love it. And let's see. Oh, I think I brought this up during one of the other reviews. I think I'll end on this because these ladies are off the air. So this is, I'll put it up and then you can see who I'm talking about. All right, these two ladies, Giselle Bryant and Wendy Osefo, unfollow each other mid-filming on Real Housewives of Potomac, season 11. Now, one or two things. I heard that they never refollowed each other after they had fallen out before. So I don't know if that is the case or not, but they are, oh, it didn't come up. Let me show you. They have unfollowed each other. Wendy and Giselle. So when I covered at another extra, I let Wendy know, Wendy, you're in danger, gal. And we saw the new cast. It is looking like Paper Bag Test revisited. So honestly, Wendy and Stacy are the two brownest Hershey colored women on that cast. And I'm kind of afraid for both of them, but in particular, Wendy, Dr. Wendy to you, sweetie. So there's Giselle grinning because she knows she got Andy Cohen in her pocket. No package, but still a job. Go ahead, Giselle. Says, well, Giselle from Hale Bryant and Wendy Scamming Osefo are no longer following each other on Instagram. And this is happening right in the middle of filming season 11. And we know that they have told us who the new cast is. It doesn't include Angel. Poor Angel. It doesn't include Kierna. I didn't care if Kierna came back or not. And it does not include Jazzy. Now, they said initially it didn't include Monique, but I'm hearing conflicting story on that. I don't know if they brought Monique back or not. The initial release of season 11 cast didn't include Monique, but since I'm hearing different things, I'm not going to say Monique won't be there. A follower slid into my DMs with screenshots showing that the two Potomac housewives have officially hit the unfollow button. If you've been watching RHOP over the last few seasons, you already know Giselle and Wendy's relationship has been a roller coaster. They started off as friends, but things went left when Giselle spread rumors about Wendy's husband allegedly cheating, which caused a major fallout that lasted for a couple of seasons. Then after Giselle's bestie, Robin Dixon, was let go following season 8, Giselle and Wendy managed to patch things up and rebuild their friendship. But now Robin's back, and suddenly Giselle doesn't need Wendy anymore. That's what a lot of us are saying. You better watch out too, Ashley Bobblehead Darby, because Ashley and Robin used to get into it, and Giselle would choose Robin every day, all day, and twice on a Sunday over Bobblehead. I don't know exactly why they unfollowed each other or if they're currently feuding, but something tells me Giselle may have had a few things to say about Wendy's ongoing legal situation. So, y'all, this is interesting. We'll see what's going to happen with that scenario. That's crazy because, I mean, Wendy was preaching at the last trip that Giselle had planned for them. I'm here to call you my friend. And I was like, Dr. Wendy, you're doing a lot. But we'll see. I can't wait to see the MJ movie. You're going to love it, CC. I loved it. I think it was wonderful. Jafar was amazing. And the music, the Michael Jackson estate had something to do with it. John Branca is an attorney that's featured in that. He's still over the estate. He's the one that found out Michael's worth over $1 billion, somewhere around $1 billion. And y'all know when that man passed away, they had him like a broken a joke. And none of that was the case. It was just his assets were tied up in so many different things. So it is well worth seeing. Linda Gamble says, I'm going to miss The View next season. Is the View's going off the air, Linda Gamble? You talking about The View with Whoopi? Saw it coming. Now Giselle has her sidekick, Miss Jackson. We tried to tell Dr. Wendy that, and she's like, and I can even call you my friend, instead of trying to put together her own coalition and alliance. I could just shake Dr. Wendy, but I feel like she always wanted Giselle's approval. The fact that Wendy's an AKA, okay, Wendy, we could have did without Robin. Me too, Linda Gamble. I just find Robin nasty. Giselle was never Wendy's friend. Mrs. Best Reviews, I don't think she was either. But she always wanted her approval. All the women did. Even Angel coming in and telling me, I thought you were going to be kind of like a big sis. When you ever see her do that, Angel? That is just crazy. Miss Jackson says, hopefully Wendy can pay fines and probation since they did not profit from the larger $400,000 attempted fraud on the larger claim. Pay the money back for the insurance paid and move on. Miss Jackson, I hope they have an attorney that can work miracles, because I'm annoyed with Wendy and Happy Eddie for even getting into this mess. But it's true. Allegedly, y'all, they only collected around $25,000 for one of the claims. And Eddie in that email says, Win, try to get us up to the full claim amount, $423,000. And allegedly, they only collected $25,000. But Miss Jackson, I don't know if they look at intent or what the actual results were. I don't know. They say that county, Mama B's one of my moderators. When she's in here, she's in the DMV area. I'm not telling her business. She has disclosed. Sometime they're kind of looking to make an example out of Dr. Wendy and Happy Eddie. So I'm with you. The View was canceled allegedly. Linda Gamble, that wouldn't shock me. I got tired of them. I really did. I don't watch them unless someone is on there that I want to see. But again, Sherry Shepherd, when does her cancellation start? Because I'm tired of Sherry. Now, certain people I don't mind seeing on there, but I don't like Sherry. I find her to be a pick-me. But everybody, thank you so much for spending a little bit of your Saturday with me. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. You know what I advise. If you get an extra 2 hours or you want to hear some good music, tap your feet, go back to finer days as far as music is concerned, in my opinion. The soundtrack is amazing. And we just had a really great time. Sneak in your own snacks, everybody. That's what I do. Cece says, replay gang, hit the like button, drop a comment, and let's hype the video up. Be blessed, everyone. Thank you so much, Cece. Yes, everybody, please use the hype feature. And thank you for joining me. I will see you in the YouTube streets. Bye, everybody.
I don't think that he's good for you.
How do you know what's good for me?
That's my opinion!
Don't you get it? Why can't anybody have an opinion but you?
That I don't think that he's good. That I